Good afternoon. Hi, welcome to Chapel and to Wellesley College campus. I'm Lisa Graham. I'm the conductor of the choral program here. And it's a tremendous delight to welcome our friends Skylark back for a second concert here. They did one last year and we absolutely loved them. And this time we get a chance to sing with them as well. So the Wellesley College Chamber Singers will also be on the program today. And we'd like to also take the opportunity to remind you that we are recording the concert today. So anything that makes noise, please turn it off at the moment. We would very much appreciate it and the engineer who would do. Anything that makes noise is off. Take that back. Thank you. And a very, very, very warm welcome to our friends from Skylark.
shapeless, and the fire world, always burning. To the north was Niflheim, the dark world, and it was colder than cold, and divided by poisonous rivers. To the south was Muspelheim, and it was dazzling hot where Niflheim was gray and frozen. Nothing there but sparks and molten rock and burning embers. It is said that at Ragnarok, which is the end of the world, and only then, Surt will leave his station, and with a flaming sword bring destruction on the earth. It was time. of everything. Odin and Vili and Ve slew the giant Ymir. The blood that gushed from Ymir's corpse was as salty seas and gray oceans. Of his flesh the earth was made. Of his teeth and jaw and bones they made rocks and pebbles. And when you look up into the sky, you are looking at the inside of Ymir's skull. And the clouds you see by day, these were Ymir's brains. And who knows what thoughts they are thinking even now. Finally, Odin and Vili and Ve made a wall from Ymir's eyelashes. And they set it around the middle of the world. And they called the place within the wall Midgard. But the brothers knew that a world is not a world until it is inhabited. And that is why Odin is called Allfather. Embla and Ask made their home in Midgard, safe behind the wall, protected from giants and monsters and all the dangers that wait in the wastelands. The ash tree Yggdrasil is the best and greatest of all trees. It grows between the 9 worlds and joins them each to each. 3 roots sustain the tree and they stand wide apart. The first root goes to Niflheim, the dark world, the underworld. Another root reaches into the land of the frost giants, and the third root of the ash tree goes to the home of the gods, to Asgard. There is one numbered among the gods, whom some call Backbiter. He is the son of frost giants, the originator of deceit, the disgrace of gods and men. His name is Loki. Loki is fair and beautiful, and he knows it. He is self-centered and mischievous at best, evil at worst, and he has often brought the gods into trouble, and sometimes helped them out again. Now, although Loki was married with 2 children in Asgard, it came to Odin in a dream that Loki had hidden away yet more children. 3 more, to be exact, whom he had fathered with a giantess in Jotunheim. And so it was there, in the land of the giants, that the children were born and raised, and loved for a time. Odin assembled the gods and announced, "I have seen in a vision that these 3 children will bring nothing but woe and misfortune. They will be our greatest foes in the time that is to come." And so Allfather sent a host to collect the children and bring them back to Asgard. The eldest child was a monstrous serpent with eyes like called Hell. And she was half living girl and half corpse. Are you alive? Odin asked the girl. Or are you not? I am only myself. But I like the dead best of all. They are simple things, and they speak to me with respect. The living look on me with revulsion. Odin contemplated the girl, and then he announced that she would be sent to Niflheim and be the ruler of the dead. And not of those warriors who die in battle, for they shall always come to Valhalla, but of those who perish from sickness or accidents or old age. She would be queen of those poor souls, and they would attend her in that deepest of dark places. At Odin's pronouncement, for the first time, the girl Hel smiled, with half the mouth. Loki's third child was a wolf cub called Fenrir. And for a time, the gods fostered him at home in Asgard. But every day the beast grew and grew, until eventually only brave Tyr had the courage to go to him and to give him food. The other gods began to fear the prophecy about him, and they resolved to tie him up for their safety. So they brought a thick rope to bind Fenrir. The wolf, who knew it would not be too strong for him, let them do as they pleased. And sure enough, as soon as he flexed against it, the rope burst and he was free. Then the gods made a metal chain, twice as strong as the rope, and brought it to the wolf, saying that he would become very famous indeed for his strength, if so strong a chain as this were not able to hold him. So again, Fenrir let them put the fetter around him. And again, the wolf shattered the chain into pieces. The gods now feared they would not be able to bind the wolf at all. So Allfather sent instructions to the dwarves for a chain unlike anything ever forged before. It was made of 6 things: the footfall of cats, the beard of a woman, the roots of the mountain, the strength of the bear, the breath of the fish, and the spittle of the birds. You might say that you have not seen these things. But of course you haven't, because you must remember that there may be some wondrous things in the world which you do not understand, but I know that what I am telling you is perfectly true. This chain was smooth and soft as a silken string. And when Fenrir saw it, he remarked to the gods that there was little fame to be had in breaking such a slender thread. "Bring me real chains," he said, "heavy ones, and let me show my strength." "Are you scared?" asked Odin. The great beast sniffed the air. "I scent treachery and trickery," replied Fenrir, his amber eyes flashing. nothing to fear from us. For if you cannot break this band, we will have no reason to fear you, and we will set you free. The wolf growled, "You lie! If I am not able to free myself, you will skulk away, and it will be a long time before I get help from any of you." Still, never say that Fenrir was a coward. Let one of you lay his hand in my mouth while you tie me up, as a pledge that this is done honestly. And when I escape, or have been freed, I will open my mouth and his hand will be unharmed. The gods looked around, but no one would offer his hand. Until Tyr stepped forward, stretched out his right arm and laid his hand in the wolf's mouth. So the gods bound Fenrir with the strange, shimmering rope. He stretched and struggled, fighting with every muscle to snap the ribbon, but the more he strained, the tighter it got. The gods all laughed. Except Tyr, who lost his hand. Fenrir watched as the gods took one end of the rope and threaded it through a stone as big as a mountain. Then he watched as they took another rock and used it to hammer the stone deeper into the earth than the deepest ocean. The wolf raged and twisted with all his might, opened his mouth and tried to bite at them. But they wedged a sword in his mouth, the hilt in his lower jaw, the point in the upper to gag him. He howls terribly there still, and the saliva which runs from his mouth forms a mighty river. There he will lie until Ragnarok. These, then, are the children of Loki.
Let's go. So
to a Horse by Edvard Grieg. And now something quite different. This is a Swedish troll curse. Take heed.
To leave an enemy without an answer, say these words to him.
Aglaria pid Volgaria anams capta.
And blow in his direction. Then he will not know which way he is headed and cannot answer you.
delightful Norwegian folk songs. The first is a bit of a dance tune with saucy lyrics. The second is a prayer. And the third is another dance tune with ridiculous lyrics. By the way, these are cow calls.
Thor and his adventures, and this is one of them. Thor and Loki set out for Jotunheim, the frigid lands of the giants beyond the protective barrier of Ymir's eyelashes. They took with them Hjalfi, a young serving boy who was known to be faster than anyone, and who was tasked with carrying supplies. When they reached the vast fortress of the giants, they were welcomed inside and taken before the king, who stooped down to observe them from his enormous throne. Tell me, companions, in what skills do you believe you are capable of competing? No one may stay here with us who does not have some skill or knowledge greater than other men. Loki, never lacking in confidence, spoke up immediately. I have a skill in which I am ready to be tested. No one here in this hall will prove faster than I at eating his food. A bold claim, shouted the king. That would indeed be an accomplishment, if you are up to it. So, one called Luga was called forward, and a trough filled with meat was brought in. Loki set himself at one end of the trough, and Luga, his challenger, stood at the other. Both began to eat as fast as he could. Two competitors met in the middle of the trough. Loki had eaten all the meat from the bones. But Loki had eaten not only the meat, but also the bones and even the trough. It seemed Loki had lost the contest. Next, the king asked Thjalfi what skills he possessed. The youngster replied that he would run a race against whomever the king chose. So, a little fellow called Hugi was called forward, and the king ordered him to race. The two went outside, where there was a good running course, and positioned themselves. In a blur, they were off. Little Hugi was so swift that when he crossed the finish line and looked back, Thjalfi was not even halfway through the course. Everyone could see the contest was over. The king then asked Thor what feat he would perform. Thor demanded a drinking contest. So the king called for his feasting horn and said, "It is customary here to finish this horn in one drink. Some may do it in two, but no one is such a small-time drinker that he cannot empty it in three." Thor eyed the horn. Did not seem to be very large, although it was rather long. He took up the horn and began to drink in massive gulps.
Om min flaskan frida.
But when he had drunk as much as he could, it seemed that the level in the horn was only slightly lower than it had been before. Thor put the horn to his mouth again and drank deeply.
Om min flaskan frida.
He struggled with it as long as he could hold his breath, but he could not even lift up the end of the horn. And again, the level had barely dropped. Thor grew angry. Raising the horn, once more he drank with all his might. Here among us, little boys like to build their strength by lifting my cat off the ground. I would not have thought to propose such a trifling thing to the mighty Thor, but perhaps it is more your speed after all. A large gray cat jumped out onto the floor of the hall. Thor approached it and, placing his hand under the middle of its belly, began to lift up the cat. But as much as Thor raised his hand, the cat arched its back. When Thor reached as high as he could, one of the cat's paws was off the ground. Beyond that, Thor could do no more. The king laughed. This contest has gone as I expected. The cat is rather large, whereas Thor is short and small. And now you call me little? Thor was furious. Let someone come forward and wrestle me. The king looked around the assembly. I do not see anyone here who would find it sporting to wrestle such a tiny adversary. Wait. Call for my old nursemaid, the old woman Ellie. Let her wrestle Thor. And so she came forward, and the match was begun. Nevertheless, the king proclaimed that the three had indeed earned their stay in Jotunheim. They were seated at a lavish feast and treated well the rest of the night. Still, the companions felt they'd had enough of this particular adventure, and they left for home the next day at dawn. The king himself walked with them as they departed and said, "Now that you are leaving, I should tell you the truth of last night. I have tricked you with magic and shapeshifters. Loki, you think you can eat fast. You will never eat as fast as Loki, who is fire incarnate, who eats like a wildfire burning down into the valley, destroying everything in its path." Thjalfi, how fast can you think, boy? Can you think faster than you can run? Of course, I can think faster than anything. Which is why I ordered you to race against Yugi, who is thought. Does not matter how fast you ran, even you cannot outrun thought. Then Thor, in a low rumble, like echoing thunder, asked, "And me? What did I actually do last night?" The king smiled. "You did the impossible. You could not perceive it. But the end of that drinking horn was in the deepest part of the ocean. You drank enough to take the sea levels down. Because of you, Thor, the sea waters will rise and ebb forevermore." And the cat you tried to lift was no cat. That was the Midgard serpent, the snake who encircles the world. It is impossible to lift the snake, and yet you did. And the old woman, asked Thor, your old nurse, what was she? His voice was tempered, but Thor began to grip his hammer more tightly. That was Ellie. Old age. No one can beat old age. Because in the end, she takes each of us, makes us weaker and weaker. All of us except you, Thor. Even when she overpowered you, you fell down only onto one knee. Thor had had enough. He raised his hammer high above his head, but before he could strike, the king was gone. The fortress was gone. The giants were gone. The three travelers stood, blinking on a desolate plain, feeling already as though their adventure to Jotunheim was fading back into the mists of dreams and memories. And throughout the world, brothers will raise swords against brothers. Fathers will fight to the death against sons. The bonds of kinship will shatter, and all the fetters and chains of the earth will be broken. Next, the sun, the moon, and the stars will be snuffed out, and below a dark sky, the earth will tremble and shake itself apart. This will be a wind age, a wolf age, until the world falls into ruin. Watchman of the gods, sees these forces of evil gathering for battle. He blows the Gjallarhorn with all his strength so that Asgard shakes with the force of it. Even the great Yggdrasil trembles, and nothing in heaven or on earth is without fear. But there is also what comes after the end. The earth will emerge from the sea, green and lush, and an eagle will circle overhead. 2 humans will emerge from their hiding place, a crack in the trunk of the great Yggdrasil, and they will step blinking into the sunlight. Together they will speak of gods and monsters and all the events of Ragnarok. Hidden and scattered in the grass, they will find the glittering gold chess pieces which once belonged to the gods. One piece resembles a tiny golden Odin. Others, half buried in the new earth, look like Thor, giants, Loki's monstrous children, and others. The man and woman will set them on a board, the gods of Asgard, facing their enemies. And with a smile, in the clear light of a fresh day, they will move the first piece of a new game.
welcoming spirit of Lisa Graham and the Wellesley College Choir. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. We're going to leave with one more song. Before we do, my favor to ask you is if this is your first time at a Skylark concert, please don't make it your last. And next time you come, bring a friend or two or 6 or 12, however many you like. We're trying to get the word out about this group, and it truly is a single-person, word-of-mouth type of thing. So we can really use your help in spreading the word. We're going to leave you with a wedding march from Norway.